houses on. So, you know, it's great.
That is in fact a great perk. So
You know it.
map
I know it.
is going to be on electric. Is going to be electric circuit, Neo electric circuit, and yeah. Oh, let me quickly have a look at TLPD. TLPD says, "Wow, this is crazy." Terran favored, 22 and 9. It's 71% in favor of Terran from
All
Pro
right.
League. From Pro League though, so that's like super mega ultra Gosu guys playing. I find that the balance of the maps actually can differ quite drastically at the lower levels, which I'm sure most people have experienced as well. If you've ever played ladder
Yeah.
games, you know that a lot of times you just can't really play like the pros at all. Still no.
That's
Go
true.
figure.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us go on to the game. Here we go. Game number 2 between TerrOr and eOnzErG. Alright, and here we are. Game number 2. eOnzErG leading 1-0. He is the yellow Zerg at the top right. And at the bottom right is the green Terran. We have SJ.TerrOr.
Yep. And only before the last game, we were saying, is eOnzErG really that good? I still don't really believe we've got an answer to that after the previous game. No. I mean,
agree.
he dealt with the crazy stuff well, but I think we have yet to see how he really fares in a more standard kind of game, which is where we'll really see him flex his muscles or not.
Indeed, indeed. And hopefully this map gives us that. Yeah, I mean, it favors Terran a little bit, or I guess a lot, based on the statistics, but I have seen some pretty crazy epic games from this. I remember some of the best games in Pro League actually were played on this map with huge late game armies of Valkyries and all that good jazz. Actually, speaking of Valkyries, we already saw those this matchup, so perhaps
Yeah.
I'm not sure how crazier it can actually get here. Valkyries are really not something you see very often in this matchup, or any matchup really. I mean, basically they have very specific use cases in like TVZ where you're hard countering mutas, and TVT where you basically end up in a situation where one player's massing wraiths and the other player needs to make Valkyries because he can't catch up on his own wraith production.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are not very common at all. Anyway, it looks like this time we're having a much more standard opening, just a depot and then a barracks for Terror. No 8 racks this time. And on the other side, no 9 pull from eOnzErG, just gone for that 12 hatch. There we go. So completely standard so far.
Yeah. Cool. Both players taking much more of a backseat this time. I mean, Terra, he tried a lot last game. His early racks didn't kill him, but it didn't really work out for him. And then from then on, he was just kind of flailing in the dark, and it may have been a well-planned build, but it just didn't really happen. So I'm not surprised he's going for a little bit more of a kind of standard seeming strategy. It could change up. He could do something completely whack, but it's kind of, yeah, I'm not surprised that he's settling into a bit more of a standard game for this one.
Yeah, and damn, I had a really good point and I just completely forgot.
I'm so sorry.
No!
I
No,
deprived
it's right
the
there.
world.
Hold on. Ah, you know what? Screw it. There's an SCV at the natural. It's going to build a command center. And a drone's going to scout it. Or it would build a command center if it had the minerals. Oh, he tried to catch the drone. Wasn't quite quick enough.
But
Anyway,
it's pulling
there's
its
the command
weight.
center.
Yep, there you go.
Alright, cool. So, 1 Rex expand versus a 3 hatch opening. Good. So very, very standard build so far. Notice that on this map, because you get this free mineral only that's protected, the Zerg can build his macro hatchery. See, normally this would be a macro hatch. You just like kind of dump it in your main somewhere. But in this case, you can actually build it at the mineral only here, since you're going to make it anyway. And it's basically a free mineral only base for the Zerg. So Zerg is quite happy about that in the early game, of course. Once you get to the mid game, then the Terran gets a free mineral only, and then the Zerg's not so happy about that. But for the time being, it's all good.
Yeah, looking fine. So the scouting SUV is going to know exactly what's up. So Terra are going to be able to react accordingly, which is great. Throwing down an extra barracks already, throwing down his gas as well, so getting ready to start making up that hefty mid-game army. Curiously, no bunker so far. That's the advantage of kind of keeping that SUV alive for a long time. You really know your limits. So you can save that little bit of extra money. Not that the bunker usually makes all the difference. But it's nice to cut any corners that you possibly can.
Indeed, indeed, and we do have a second racks and then a refinery, everything going as standard, and there's the academy, of course, going for a 2 racks academy. gonna go for that stim and range research for his marines, get some medics out, all that good jazz. And yeah, meanwhile we do see the lair almost halfway done here for EOnzErG. I assume he's just gonna go for a standard 3-hatch muta build, although on this map it's definitely possible to go for lurkers first because of this back door. You can break it down with the lurkers and open up that second entrance into your opponent's base. Nowadays we normally don't see lurker openings from the Zerg, since muta play, given the level of modern muta micro, is generally stronger. But with quirky maps like this, you never know. Especially with EOnzErG, who was actually known, or I suppose is actually known, as a somewhat cheesier player. Yeah. More so than Technics, at least, I suppose. So yeah, could see something like that.
Well, Technics couldn't have seemed much less cheesy, although EOnzErG not like hugely cheesy. I mean, last game he was aggressive, certainly, but by no means cheesy as of yet. And looking very, very normal right here. He's got his first sunken colony morphing just to make him nice and safe against any unseen shenanigans. And we do have stim happening from Terra as well. He's kind of seeing off those Zerglings quite nicely with his early Marines, so he might be able to actually get another scouting SUV out if he chooses. Although actually he's got another one at the Zerg Natural already, so he's pretty much got all the information he can possibly get. And the Spire now on the way for EOnzErG as well. So this is just going to be really, really normal stuff. But Terra is actually getting quite far ahead of himself. And because those links have been pushed so far back, EOnzErG is a little bit in the dark about this. He is throwing down a second creep colony, but whether it'll be a second colony in time or not, I'm not sure. Stim is now done for Terra, and this could be really, really dangerous for EOnzErG if he doesn't see what's going on. The scans go down, and I think Terra's going to be ready to go. He might have a timing here.
Oh my god, I think this was a huge mistake for EOnzErG to not leave a single Zergling outside the Terran's natural. You basically have to do that just to see this kind of attack coming. And here we go. A single sunken only is finished. The Zergling's coming out. The drones coming out to defend. The second sunken is almost finished. The first sunken is about to go down on the drones, trying to get into fight, but the 2 medics are healing it way too fast. But it looks like a bit of a missed target. No, there we go. 1 sunken down, 2 sunkens down, but it looks like the drones are doing a ton of damage here, and actually Terra has to pull back. The third sunken colony finishes, and Terra doesn't quite break through the natural. So close there.
Oh my god, that was close. That was one of the most intense little battles we've seen so far today. We had absolutely going down to the line for EOnzErG. He had to pull so many drones off his minerals right there, but in the process he lost none of them. He lost 2 sun colonies, lost a bunch of links, but that is small compared to what he could have lost. So just defending absolutely to the hilt, and now his mutas are on the way out, but also Terra not losing too much that he can't replace. So I think all in all that both ended up pretty even after a very intense early battle. The only significant difference being in this game that EOnzErG already has that third base up and running, so that might just give him a little bit of an edge as the game progresses.
Indeed, but note once again that this is a mineral-only base and not a gas base, and gas is really the crucial resource that Zerg wants in this matchup, and in every matchup really. Looks like the Twilight Mountain the Hydralisk 10 just now finishing, gonna get some lurker tech here and send a drone to the top left. Meanwhile, the mutas are just gonna poke in here. Looks like the turret's actually at the natural, not done in time, so gonna take a little bit of damage here. The bunker's a little bit far up, but there come the Marines. Down to attack this, and man, that attack, I was so scared. I saw the Marines going in, I was like, oh man, is this gonna be like a 5-minute game? That'd be kind of lame, like completely anticlimactic, but no, looks like we are gonna go a little bit longer. Ooh, 1 muta being sniped down there, getting focus fire down. Note it's very difficult to target fire with this nice muta stacking, but good Terran players will try and focus down individual mutas and not spread their fire. Meanwhile, we do see the drone making now the 4th base. Normally this would be the 3rd base, of course, since the Zerg does have the free mineral only. It is a 4th base, but really it's the 3rd gas, and that's once again the crucial thing here. So this is essentially his 3rd base, and more importantly, unlike on Fighting Spirit or on Jade, in fact, it's much more difficult to defend this base than normal because it's a wide open space here. There's no ramp for you to place lurkers on, so EOnzErG is probably gonna have to be a bit more effective with the muta micro than normal in order to defend that base.
Yeah, but oh no, look at this. The one missile turret that Terra had defending has actually gone down. The other one, which was in the process of building, didn't last very long. And as such, he's left very, very, very thin at his natural. So he's going to have to throw out some more emergency missile turrets right away. I hope that one doesn't mana his minerals too badly. And he's going to have to get his Marines over there as well. Good scans will prevent too much damage from being done right here. But meanwhile, eOnzErG is using the freedom he has to take a 4th base as well, so Terra is going to have to do quite a lot to stay level right here, and eOnzErG is looking scary with these mutants. However, Terra is doing a decent job of focus firing them down, taking one down right there, but the micro is just not stopping from eOnzErG. He's going to keep this going as long as he possibly can.
Now the starport is finished, the control tower is being added on. He's going to want to get a science facility as soon as possible here, because as soon as that science vessel comes out with Irradiate, he will be able to ward off that Muta harass once and for all. Looks like an SCV actually gets trapped inside this little starport depot wall here. Tried to get out there by lifting the factory, couldn't get out, so he gave up and started building a depot instead. But oh my god, that's a lot of lurkers moving in the front here.
Oh wow!
Try and focus down one of them, but it looks like, oh man, the Muta's coming in as well. Terra could actually go down here. It's going to be very, very tight. Looks like no falling back to the bunker is going to be enough. eOnzErG content to just kind of keep his lurkers at the front, just slowly pressure the Terrans natural here.
Yeah, I tell you though, if I were Terra right now, I would be throwing up more bunkers. I would not be content sitting there with just one. This is still feeling dodgy as hell, and here come the lurkers. Terra's going to dodge out. He might be able to get one with a nice marine spread. I thought maybe two, but no, he had to pull back a little bit sooner. But yes, there is the second bunker, and I definitely think this is a good idea, but the mutants are going to get dodge in, and are going to be able to take out the SCV before it's able to complete its work. But he should definitely get that finished, because it could be crucial in actually defending this. It could be the difference between life or death. That floating factory is able to help relatively little. But those lurkers are going to have a great position to move in if they choose to. With that second bunker, I think might just be enough for Terran right here.
And I just realized one crucial thing here is that the factory's lifted, which means Terra's just going straight for vessels. He's not even thinking about building siege tanks. I mean, a siege tank right now would be very, very helpful. Even on siege, siege tanks actually outrange lurkers, so he could just push these back with a single siege tank protected by the bunkers. But because he's gone for this SK Terran style, which means that you go pure medic marine and 2 starport science vessels, skipping siege tanks entirely, he's actually being pinned back a lot longer than he might otherwise be if he'd chosen a different strategy here. And he's lost the second gas, which is very, very crucial. He's not really going to have the gas to be pumping science vessels from the 2 starports. And indeed, there's a dropship going into the main, going to be dropped there, but it looks like it was spotted already by eOnzErG. Does he actually have anything here? Oh man, he might get the Spire. Oh.
He does. But the drones are having to come off the line. The mutants are going to take a lot of damage right here at the very least. Did the dropship go down? Looks like the dropship might actually escape if the mutants are tied up for long enough. No, I think the dropship's probably going to get taken down on its way home. Nice try right there from Terra, and it did actually get all the way over there without being spotted. But I think I think that's pretty limited effectiveness. Just one medic surviving. I guess it doesn't really matter. It might have been better going over to the top left-hand base, but there's actually no defense whatsoever. So with slightly more diligent scanning, you might be able to get that. I'm not even sure if he knows of his existence at all, although he must assume it's there by now.
Indeed, indeed. And interestingly, this is random SCV outside Terra's base. I don't know how he got that out there. He might as well like go build a hidden base somewhere. Wait, what is that? Is that a turret? He's just randomly building a turret outside his base? Oh, he's gonna elevator units out of his base with that turret outside his cover. Look at that, because he's contained in his base by these lurkers at the front. He can't go out the natural, so he's just gonna go out the back. What?
I like that.
Wow, that is actually really smart. And the thing is, if eOnzErG doesn't notice this, he might not actually make enough defenses at home. He might just be like, oh, well, you know, I have all these lurkers at the front. There's no way he can actually get out, so let me just, like, you know, build a million drones and try and get ahead in eco. And actually, he's going to be really surprised when a whole bunch of medic marine actually come out in his front door with these lurkers.
Not quite going to see. Oh, so close, but the pathing means the lurkers just walk right on past. Oh, no, it looks like he does see it and is able to actually start closing it down. And so many Marines going down already, about 4 or 5 of them immediately dying, and I think that will be enough for eOnzErG to be able to deal with this. eOnzErG is looking damn good today. I mean, I can see why people are saying he's a contender. He is looking strong. He must have been playing a lot. Now pulling back some of his units in order to be able to deal with these Marines. But Terra, he knows he's got to do this. He's continuing to elevate the units out just to try and get some kind of foothold on the map. He does have quite a strong force out there now, so I'd expect him to be able to put on some decent pressure at least.
And the funny thing is, eOnzErG's actually only left 2 lurkers at the front now, just basically to deny that gas. So keeping the Terran back on 1 gas, even though he is taking his back mineral only now, and also taking advantage of the contain to double expand basically to the top left natural and the 12 o'clock base.
Oh, sorry. saw some crazy stuff happening in the natural. I think Terra's rally points are slightly screwed up, and so he's just kind of rallying Marines out into Liquefier, which is cool. But sorry, go on.
No, that's alright. There's a big engagement going on right now. I see 2 Guardians. I didn't know there were Guardians on the field. There's a Greater Spire somewhere that I haven't noticed yet, and Dark Swarm as well. And this ragtag group of Marines is not going to get very far here. Man, Terra's in such bad shape right now. Just completely pinned to his base the whole game. You know, eOnzErG's got all of his tech. He's going up to 5 gases in a second here, and the Guardians are just walking into the main base right now. It looks like he's finally cleaned up the lurkers outside his natural, but he's got such a small force here to deal with such a great Zerg composition. I'm not really sure what he can do.
No, this is superb by eOnzErG. I mean, he's played this really quite flawlessly. Those Marines in the main are going to have such a hard time killing those Guardians. They're just going to be able to eat the Marines for breakfast, and not a single Wraith on the field yet either able to deal with those. So those Guardians are going to have free reign for quite some time. And GG from TerrOr. Great performance there by eOnzErG to take down TerrOr.
Wow. eOnzErG.
What a boss.
Oops. Oh man, is he the real deal? Man, I mean, TerrOr is a seriously good Terran here.
I know, he made him look average.
I mean, the thing, and also because eOnzErG, like, even when he was good, and when I watched him play, he was pretty cheesy. Like, when he did win games, oftentimes he would go for, like, the 9-pool shenanigans, big speeding run bys and stuff. But yeah.